Okay, today's lesson is on the distributive property and combining like terms. The distributive property looks like this. You have a number on the outside of a set of parentheses, and you have multiple numbers or variables inside of your parentheses. The number on the outside, you're going to distribute to everything on the inside. So you're going to take A, and you're going to multiply it by B, and then you're going to take A, and you're going to multiply it by C. That will give you A times B plus A times C. If you want to look at an example where you have numbers, so 5 times the quantity x minus 4 means you're going to take 5 and multiply by x, which is going to give you 5 times x, and then you're going to do 5 times negative 4, okay, and then you can rewrite it as 5 times x is 5x, and 5 times 4 is 20, so 5x minus 20. Alright, looking at example A, the same thing. You've got the 7 on the outside, you want to distribute the 7 to the 3w, and the 7 to the negative 5. So 7 times 3w is 21w, okay, and then 7 times negative 5 is negative 35. There's nothing you can do there as far as simplifying, so you can just leave that as your answer. Okay, so this looks a little bit different than what we just did. First, you have the number on the right side instead of the left side. The operation is still multiply. You're still going to take 4, and you're going to still multiply by everything on the inside. This time, there's 3 things on the inside instead of 2. So you're going to take 4, and you're going to multiply by the negative 3. You're going to take 4 and multiply by the v, and then you're going to take 4 and multiply by 6v squared. Okay, that's going to leave you with, if you do 4 times 6v squared, that's 24v squared. 4 times v is a positive 4v, and then 4 times negative 3 is a negative 12. Okay, and then the last one is c. The negative 6 is back on the left side. You're still multiplying. There's 3 things involved. So you're going to take negative 6 and you're going to multiply by the r, negative 6 times the 3g, and negative 6 times negative t. Negative 6 times r is negative 6r. Negative 6 times 3g is negative 18g. And negative 6 times a negative t, remember a negative times a negative is a positive, so 6 times t is positive 6t. Combining like terms. Okay, so like terms are terms that have the same variables and exponential power. Okay, so what does that mean? Let's say I have 2x plus 3x plus 5x squared plus 4x squared. So like terms have the same variable and the same exponent. So if you look at 2x, okay, that's just a variable of x. And then if you look at 3x, that's just a variable of x. So 3x and 2x you can combine to make 5x. Then you look at 5x squared and 4x squared. They both have x, and they both have an exponent of 2. So then those two can be combined with one another, and you're left with 9x squared. You can't combine 5x and 9x squared together because this x right here doesn't have an exponent of 2. So they have to have both the same variable and the same exponent. Let's take a look at one more example. We've got 5y squared plus 6xy minus 2y squared. Okay, so which ones are the same? Which ones have like terms? 5y squared and negative 2y squared are like terms because they both have y and they both have an exponent of 2. So 5y squared minus 2y squared is 3y squared. And then since 6xy doesn't have any other like terms with it, plus 6xy gets added on at the end. Unlike terms are terms that have different variables or some variables that, okay, so terms that have different variables, just completely different, or they have some variables that are the same, but they have different exponential powers. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple examples there. So 3x plus 2y minus 3x squared plus 4z. So none of these, so 3x can't be combined with 3x squared. They have the same variable but different exponential powers, so those can't be combined. There's no y anywhere else, and there's no z anywhere else. So none of these can be combined with one another. Alright, let's take a look at A. 4y cubed, so this has a y, 2y has a y, and negative 8y has a y. But this first 4y cubed also has an exponent of 3. So that cannot be combined with 2y or negative 8y because none of those have an exponent of 3. But 2y and negative 8y don't have an exponent of 1. Okay, so since these have the same like terms, you can combine those together. So you're left with 4y cubed, 2y minus 8y is 6y plus 5. Nothing else can be combined because they don't all have the same variable and same exponent. Alright, B, you've got 7m plus 2m plus 5p plus 4m. 7m, 2m, and 4m are all like terms. So 7 plus 2 is 9, 9 plus 4 is 13, so you get 13m plus 5p. And then the last one, you got 3x plus 7 times the quantity 3x plus 4. We just talked about the distributive property. You have the 7 on the outside, so you want to make sure you distribute that 7 to both the 3x and the 7 to the 4. So you can rewrite that as 3x, 7 times 3 is 21x, okay, and 7 times 4 is plus 28. Now do you have any like terms? 3x and 21x are like terms. They have the same variable and same exponent. So 3x plus 21x is 24x, and then plus 28 on the end. That can't be combined with anything because it doesn't have a variable.